All right, so welcome to the Blueprints, where I am joined by the Honorable Lisa Walsh. Um, Judge, I have to tell you, this is pretty special for me, and I know I've told you this before when we've done some events together, but I remember it's sort of a full circle moment because I remember being a baby prosecutor in front of you and going into the courtroom, and it was my first experience seeing a judge rule with sort of this level of intellect, a command of the courtroom, and just a common sense approach. And it was funny as much as you've been a mentor to me for so long, I still have to do my research and prepare for anything that we do together. And I came across this article where you were appointed by Governor Rick Scott, and one of the remarks he made was praising you for this common sense approach that you have to being a judge, but also I imagine also just being a human. So this is super special to me, and thank you for taking the time. In terms of a background, before I turn it over to you, because everyone wants to hear from you, not me. Uh, so Judge Walsh was an assistant public defender from 1992 to 2004 here in Miami-Dade County. She spent about 4 years from 2004 to 2008 in private practice. I think it's fair to say primarily doing appellate work. And then in 2008 was appointed to the county court bench. And then in 2011, as I mentioned, was elevated to the circuit court bench. And Judge, when I hand it over, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you moved over to the Complex Business Division here in 2023 or so. So, Judge, it's an honor to have you here. This is something that I'm just trying to get sort of what I like to call the three truths out to the judiciary directly, and just give us lawyers an opportunity to hear directly from you all, as things that hopefully this will make the experience better, from if you can know your personnel. So, Judge, I think I'll jump into it and then I'll hand it over to you. The first question in the three truths is, why'd you become a lawyer?
I fought it, but it was really kind of a natural manifestation of me as a person. Honestly, I don't. We sometimes toss around the question: if you weren't a lawyer, if you weren't a judge, what else would you be? And I suppose I would probably be in some form of broadcast or media, or or journalism, or some kind of a writer or a professor. But I always had a facility with a written word, and a love of language and a love of reading. And weirdly enough, I do not have a love of conflict, but it is the intellectual exercise of taking multiple points of view and multiple sources and origins for how to solve a problem and apply all of that through the written word. That is extremely natural to me. So it was kind of a foregone conclusion, probably from elementary school. Nobody was surprised that I became a lawyer. And I was on my debate team. That's sort of where you cut your teeth. So many lawyers come out of high school debate, and I loved high school debate. It's actually how I met my husband. Uh,
Okay.
and a lot, and some still, best friends that I have to this day. So it was just a very, very natural choice.
That's great. That's great. Well, then as you can imagine, my next sort of logical question is, what made you become a judge? Why'd you want to become a judge?
That wasn't the plan. I never gave, that was never anything that I thought that I would want to do. It just never entered my mental horizon. But when as you mentioned, I spent 4 years as a trial judge. And when you work for any kind of an agency and you deal in volume, uh, you are exposed to many decision makers, both juries and judges. And it's just through the process of watching judges that the idea occurs to you. That looks like a lot of fun, and I bet I would be pretty good at that. And the question becomes, are you going to be able to step away from advocacy to just drop that mantle of advocacy and to embrace the concept of impartiality and neutrality? Some people can do it and some people really cannot. And it was almost a relief to not be pinned to a particular side and to not have a particular point of view or an interest that you're loyal to be able to be to completely apply yourself to solving whatever the problem is in front of you.
What a
So
thoughtful
it was a
answer.
decision that came, it really came over time, and probably not until I was well into my appellate career. And certainly as an appellate lawyer, I think I knew the back drawer truth of just about every judge in the county at that time, because I handled all of
Yeah.
their appeals and I dealt in a lot of volume. So I could tell, wow, that is a really good judge. That is a really
Mhm.
smart thing to do. And you start to observe and then you think about mirroring.
It's Judge, I have to tell you, I'm embarrassed after all these years. I wish I would have asked you that question earlier. Very cool response. So then the final one, because I know we got to get you back to trial. So we're on a deadline here. What would you want us to know as litigants before we appear in front of you? Whether it's regarding, your philosophy, your judicial temperament, things that bother you, things that don't bother you, just free flow, whatever comes to mind.
I really don't have a preconceived, one would hope that no judge has a preconceived notion or bias or inclination on anything. I really don't. And it really doesn't matter to me at all who, ultimately who wins and who loses. So if you're appearing in front of me and you want me to rule for you and for your client, um, help me help you. The biggest pitfalls that I see for lawyers is getting snagged in either administrative mess, or the failure to give me the tools to be able to quickly pivot around and focus and get to the issue at hand. So it's irritating to lawyers, I know, to have a judge who has a million different picky things on their webpage that somehow you're supposed to follow. Like, we all have our own individual rules, and I feel pretty strongly that all those rules should be synchronous. They should really be the same for all judges. But part of the reason why some of those are there are, you want your hearing to be seamless. You want to have given me whatever it is that I need without mess. Anyone who appears in front of me knows that I have Westlaw open at the same time as all the other windows that I need in order to do my job. I have read the cases. I have access to the cases. I do not need you to send me actual pronounced cases or outline cases. But just make sure that you upload the motion, the response, the reply. If the motion is directed at a pleading, upload the pleading. The motion is directed at discovery, upload the discovery and the responses in one, neat package. And boy, we will just get to it. We will get through it. You won't have the frustration of a truncated opinion or a reset or me saying special set this. So I think that that's the most useful thing that I can say is help me help you. Just make sure that everything is there. Those that are really good with PDF binders that don't just have your side of things, that have, here's everything you need in a nutshell right here, and I can very quickly get to what I need and ask questions I need to ask, and then hopefully get you a ruling ASAP.
Judge, it's funny when I came over from the criminal side of things, I remember you saying that to me, just not in federal court. Obviously, we read division procedures, we do all that in federal court. And you said, read your judges' division procedures, even in state court, because you'll be able to tell who really it really matters to because you take the time to lay it out. And I've heard you now say that at least 3 additional times when we've worked together on these things. So hopefully people take it to heart.
I'm not going to,
So
and the other thing is, think about, it's almost empathy.
yeah,
Okay, it's not really empathy, because why should you care? But it is, if you put yourself in the shoes of the back of office and you think, what is the user interface from her point of view, you will be 10 steps ahead of the other person in being able to get me where you want me to be. So
100%.
it's just the essence of persuasion.
So, Judge, I will end here, but I cannot end without acknowledging you briefly, in the sense that your level of commitment to just the excellence of this craft, and trying to get it right, which you think, like, again, all judges do, and try and do, but I have witnessed it firsthand in terms of just how much you care. And it's just a great quality about you. And as I always say, as much as judges talk, litigants talk too. So thank you for being here. Super grateful to you. And get back to trial now, right?
I'm going back to trial. Thank
All
you.
right. Take care, Judge.